Hi guys, today we're going to be talking about octave references. These are not things to play exactly, but more like visual references to build whatever you're working on top of. So, let's start with single string fingering. If you have a note, let's say here on the 6th string, notice that it's on the first dot. So, if you follow the dot patterns, there are 4 single dots and then 2 double dots. And if I had 24 frets, I would get to repeat the pattern. So even if you don't know your notes in your neck, you can grab that note and play it on the same spot where the pattern repeats. So the first single dot again, and you'll get an octave. So that's one way. Cool. So the next way to play octaves are what I call A shapes. So A octaves will not skip all over the neck. They will stay in a position. You will skip 2 strings in between the notes, always. And the highest note will always be closest to the headstock or not. So here's how it works. If you use your pinky on the 6th string, you will skip 2 strings, and then on the G string have 2 frets that are empty, and there would be your octave. Alright? So 2 strings with nothing, 2 frets with nothing. Alright? Now, from the 5th string, if you move the same shape, it will not work because of the tuning of the guitar. You had to add a half step to the top note to turn it into an octave again. Right? So skip 2 strings and there's an empty fret in between the notes. And again, same shape. Skip 2 strings, empty fret in between the 2. Alright. The last way to play the octaves, or not, because remember this is just the visual reference, is what I call B shapes. So, the B shapes have a single string skip, and the highest note will always be closest to the body of the guitar. Right? So, here's how it works. If we're starting from the 6th string, we would use our first finger, normally. We would skip 1 string and leave 1 fret empty. So, like that. If you're used to power chords, it's kind of like throwing away the middle note. Right? From the 5th string, the same thing would happen. 1 string empty, 1 fret empty. If we repeat the same thing, doesn't work. We gotta add the half step. So, 2 empty frets, 1 empty string. And the same thing would repeat again from the 3rd string. Alright? Okay, so the way to put this all together is kind of simple actually. It's what I call the chessboard. If we had a guitar with an infinite number of strings with an infinite number of frets, the shapes vertically would always go A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B. Horizontally it's not so easy because they go A, B, A, B, but they form a weird diagonal. So it's kind of sort of like a chessboard. So let's say we've got this shape, right? This C shape. If we were to go straight up, we would get an A shape. We can't do that because we don't have a 0 string, let's say. And if we were here, we would need 7. Well, with an 8 string, I could probably do it. So, there's that. If we're going forwards and backwards, here's where it gets tricky. Because it depends on the note you're sharing. So up and down the neck, everything depends on the note one octave shares with the next. If you're sharing the same side of the octave, the high side or the low side, you're playing effectively the same octave. Let's see it with octaves in C. If we've got this octave, and then we play this next one, they share the lower note. So effectively, they're exactly the same octave. If I play this next one, it shares the top note with the other ones, so it's effectively the same octave. So all this are exactly the same octave. In a piece of music paper, you would read the same thing, play the same. What changes is the timbre and the fingering that might make it a little bit easier or harder to play on the guitar. That's all that changes. And if you want to move to the next octave, you would need to have an octave where the note they share is a different side. Simple as that. So if I get this, notice that my high side becomes my low side. So I'm effectively moving through octaves. So that's one of the reasons why the guitar neck can be so confusing, because people think they're moving up. They're kind of sort of not. Anyway. So, in conclusion, I hope this mini lesson has been helpful. I think the concept is something that is rarely talked about, but it's super useful for everything you do. Like, I study crazy things with teachers, and sometimes you get a scale with strange fingering, and you don't even know where that comes from. But you can easily see it when you have your references together. It can be easily integrated into the cage system too. And, well, whatever system you use. If you use 3 notes per string, this is underneath it. If you use 4 notes per string, like Alan Holdsworth or something, it's still there. So, I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you guys next time.